He was just a boy in a wheelchair, no parents, no strength to run, and no idea that the man meant to protect him had murder in his heart. They went for a walk. Only one returned. But before the silence swallowed him whole, something stirred in the forest. 4 legs, amber eyes, a scream that never reached the sky, but a dog that did. What happened next will shake you, heal you, and restore your faith in what loyalty truly means. Before we begin, tell me, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. And if you believe that a life in a wheelchair is still a life worth fighting for, if you believe no child should ever be abandoned, then hit that subscribe button. Because this story, this one's going to stay in your soul. Scene 1, The Mountain Road. The late autumn wind carried a bitter edge as it swept down from the Rocky Mountains, whispering through sparse pine trees surrounding the small town of Blackidge, Colorado. Fewer than 1,000 souls lived here, the roads curling like veins around the mountain's base. The sky hung a hard, heavy gray, the kind that presses low over the horizon, and the cold clung to skin like damp wool. Leaves, crisp and brown, rustled beneath the tires of a weathered pickup as it wound its way up a mountain trail. In the passenger seat sat 9-year-old Lucas Turner, his legs motionless beneath a navy blue fleece blanket. His wheelchair was strapped in the truck bed behind them. Lucas had been paralyzed in the same car accident that took both his parents just 8 months ago. Once a vibrant, curious boy with shaggy, dark blonde hair and storm-gray eyes, now he barely spoke. Gravity seemed heavier on his shoulders. In his lap, he clutched a worn stuffed dog, its stitched ear hanging by a thread. It was the last gift his mother had given him. Beside him sat Caleb Turner, his uncle, and now legal guardian, early 40s, lean, wiry frame, a face weathered by sun and cynicism. His dull, hazel eyes rarely blinked. His voice? Cold, decisive, the kind that didn't ask, it commanded. His olive parka was zipped to his chin, his hands calloused, fingernails chewed to the quick. People in Blackidge thought of him as quiet, standoffish. But no one questioned his devotion to his late brother's child, at least, not aloud. "We're almost there," Caleb said without looking at the boy. "Told you, this place has the best view in the county." Lucas didn't answer. His eyes drifted toward the swaying silhouettes of pine trees. He hadn't wanted to leave the house, hadn't wanted to go anywhere with Caleb, but saying no was never an option. Trailing them on foot was Rex, a 7-year-old German shepherd, his coat a deep gold and black, a scar carved just above his left brow. Once a trained search and recovery dog, Rex had been injured in a landslide that left him with a permanent limp. Ever since Lucas's accident, Rex had become the boy's shadow, sleeping beside his bed, guarding his wheelchair, and growling low whenever Caleb raised his voice. Scene 2, The Bluff. They arrived at the bluff just as the wind sharpened, slicing like glass. The clearing overlooked a sheer drop, a vertigo-inducing plunge where the tree canopy below rippled like a sea of shadows. No rail, no fence, just brittle grass and loose rock marking the edge. Caleb unlatched the tailgate, lifting the wheelchair with mechanical ease. No words, no warmth. He placed Lucas in the chair and rolled him toward the edge. Lucas's fingers tightened on the blanket. "Uncle Caleb," he called, voice shaking, "why are we stopping here?" Caleb knelt, adjusting the brakes. "Thought you'd like to see something beautiful," he muttered. "It's cold," Lucas whispered. "It won't take long." Something in Caleb's tone made Rex freeze. The dog's ears pricked. His amber eyes tracked Caleb's hand as it hovered too long on the back of the chair. Lucas looked down, too close. Only a foot of gravel and brittle grass separated him from the void. "Can we go back now?" Lucas pleaded. Caleb stood, his jaw clenched. "You know, sometimes life puts people in impossible situations. Things get heavy." He turned away toward the trees. "Your dad? He always thought he could save the world. Look where that got him. Look where that got you." Lucas didn't understand the words, but he understood the coldness in them. Caleb exhaled, stepped behind the wheelchair, and let go. Scene 3, The Fall and the Fury. The world tilted, but not the way Caleb expected. Rex lunged. With a snarl that tore through the mountain silence, he slammed into the side of the chair just as it began to roll, redirecting its path. The front wheels lifted, then caught on a tangle of thick roots buried just shy of the cliff. Lucas screamed. The chair tipped sideways but stopped, suspended, wedged between rocks and roots. Caleb stumbled back, disbelief in his eyes. Lucas sobbed, clinging to the armrests like lifelines. Rex stood between the boy and the man, teeth bared, hackles raised, body trembling with fury. A long silence. Wind howled through the trees. Caleb's expression hardened. Without a word, he turned, walked back down the trail, didn't run, didn't look back, simply vanished into the mist. Rex whined, desperate and low. He nosed around the chair's wheels, then sat beside Lucas, pressing close, shielding him from the wind. The boy curled his fingers into Rex's fur. Above them, clouds shifted. The first snowflake of the season landed on Rex's nose. Below, Lucas whispered, "Don't leave me." Rex didn't move. He never would. Scene 4, The Teacher's Instinct. Back in Blackage, as night fell, Emma Field stepped off her porch. Early 30s. Curly chestnut hair pinned back, slim build, steady voice, a fifth-grade teacher known for warmth, decisiveness, and instincts that never failed her. Lucas Turner had been on her mind. He hadn't come to school in 2 days. Something wasn't right. She remembered the cabin Caleb moved into, an old hunting place. She'd visited once, uninvited, under the excuse of dropping off schoolwork. She'd seen the coldness in Caleb's eyes, heard the rumors, debt, desperation, and now? A sound, a howl. Not from a coyote, from a dog. She tilted her head. The sound came again. Not a random cry, a call. Emma stepped back inside and grabbed her phone. "This is Miss Fields. Please let Mrs. Chandler know I won't be in tomorrow. There's something I need to check on." She didn't sleep that night. That sound stayed with her. Scene 5, The edge of everything, on the bluff. Night thickened. Lucas's lips cracked. His stomach ached. Not from hunger, but tension. His body screamed for movement, but the straps held him still. He couldn't reach the buckles. "Rex," he whispered, "I don't want to die." Above, Rex pawed at the rocks. Then he howled again, sharper, urgent. The sound echoed down the valley, through trees, across the basin, and back toward the ears of a teacher who had never stopped caring. Scene 6. The search begins. Morning came gray, with fog crawling across Blackage like ghost smoke. Emma stood on her porch, coffee in hand, jaw set. She pulled on her worn boots and jacket, purpose over polish, then headed to Caleb's property. The cabin sat lonely, surrounded by dying birch. Paint peeled, the porch sagged, no truck in the drive. The door was unlocked. Inside, damp wood, stale coffee, dust drifting in thin shafts of light. In the back bedroom, she found Lucas's backpack, unpacked. A sketch of Rex in blue marker, his school tablet, a folder marked Homework, Week 8. Her gut twisted. Emma stepped outside, eyes scanning the tree line, listening, and in the distance, one more howl. Ohm looked at Emma, his voice faltering. "He didn't try to grab me when the chair moved. If Rex hadn't, I would have—" His voice trailed off. Emma gently brushed the hair from his forehead. "You're safe now." Tom handed Agent Riley a USB stick. "We pulled camera footage from a general store Caleb visited 2 hours after Lucas went missing. He said he was on the way to Denver with the boy. But the footage shows him alone. No wheelchair in the truck bed either." He paused, pulling out a clear evidence bag. "We also found tire tracks near the bluff. Same treads, same size. And one more thing. Inside the bag was a bent metal latch, part of a seatbelt buckle. This was found among the roots where Lucas's chair was wedged. It had been forced closed, jammed shut so it couldn't release. Someone didn't want him to get out, even if he tried." Emma's eyes glistened. Agent Riley nodded grimly and tucked the USB into her coat pocket. "That's enough for a warrant." Rex gave a soft bark, as if in agreement. EXT, Caleb Turner's cabin, evening. Snow falling. Tom and a team of deputies approached the door. Caleb, dressed in flannel and jeans, opened it with a neutral expression. "What's going on?" he asked flatly. Tom didn't answer immediately. He stepped inside with quiet authority. "You're under arrest for attempted murder, fraud, and falsifying guardianship documents." Caleb's eyes narrowed. "What are you talking about?" "Lucas is alive," Tom said, "and speaking. You might have gotten away with this, if not for him." He nodded toward Rex. "And that dog." Caleb didn't move, but a flicker of panic passed behind his eyes. He didn't resist, as the handcuffs clicked around his wrists. "Int, hospital room, night." Emma helped Lucas sit up as a nurse adjusted his pillows. A soft knock interrupted them. It was Gwen, a petite nurse's assistant with short brown curls and thick glasses. She held a leather-bound folder. "This was found during property inventory," she said, offering it to Emma. "Thought you might want to see it." Emma opened the folder, her breath caught. Inside was a notarized copy of the last will and testament of Marcus and Rachel Turner, Lucas's parents, dated just 6 months before the accident. She read aloud, "In the event of our passing, guardianship of Lucas Turner is to be granted only to a party who understands and respects his emotional bond with Rex, the family service animal. Preference shall be given to an individual who demonstrates the ability to love both child and dog as equal family." Lucas's eyes widened. "They wrote that?" Emma nodded softly. "They did." At the foot of the bed, Rex wagged his tail once, quietly, as if he already knew. Montage, days pass. Snow softened outside room 214, blanketing the town of Brookage in white. Inside, the world had narrowed to soft beeping monitors, occasional murmurs from nurses, and the unwavering presence of one devoted German shepherd. Rex never left Lucas's side. He curled beneath the hospital bed by night, sat beside the window by day. His rich black and tan coat had been cleaned, but still bore faint traces of cliffside mud. His amber eyes had grown more watchful, wiser perhaps. He would gently rest his head on Lucas's lap, careful not to hurt him. The physical bruises were fading. The emotional ones took longer. Each morning, as light spilled through the blinds, Rex greeted Lucas with a low, soulful sound, more presence than bark, more love than noise. Emma Fields became a daily presence. She brought coloring books, clean clothes, and even a red spaceship model Lucas had once mentioned in class. There was a new urgency in her. Each moment with Lucas seemed to matter more than the last. One morning, Lucas reached for her hand. "Do I have to go back to Caleb's house when I get better?" Emma looked to Rex, then back at Lucas. "No, sweetheart, you never will." End hospital waiting area, day. Emma met with Sheriff Tom Gray, now in a simple winter coat and scarf. He looked tired. "She's serious about it," Tom said, holding up a manila envelope. "Guardianship petition." "I know," Emma replied. "He needs someone who sees him, not just a boy in a chair. And Rex, too. They're a package." Tom nodded. "You know it won't be simple. The court will want full review. Psychological assessments." "Then let them," Emma said. I'm not backing down." Tom smiled faintly. "You were always stubborn, in the best ways." Montage, the world takes notice. Brookage stirred. Local reporters picked up the story. The dog who saved the boy who couldn't run. A bubbly nurse named Rachel Mendes uploaded footage of Rex standing guard at Lucas's bedside. It went viral. "He's a hero," she said on air, brushing a tear from her cheek. "A real one." Flowers and stuffed animals filled the hospital lobby. Letters came from school children across the country. One arrived from Florida. "Dear Lucas and Rex, you are brave and strong. Love, Ava, age 7. Lucas's room became a museum of love. One wall was covered in hand-drawn cards. His wheelchair, now outfitted with custom wheels donated by a local shop, stood by the window like a silent promise. And Rex watched it all with the quiet dignity of a soldier finally home. NT Hospital, therapy session, day. Tom arrived with an older man, Dr. Mitchell Rowan, a licensed trauma therapist. In his 60s, with thinning gray hair and a tweed jacket, Dr. Rowan moved with the patience of someone who had spent years listening to pain. Lucas regarded him cautiously, until Rex nudged his arm. That was all it took. 2 hours later, Lucas had shared stories about his parents, bedtime tales, and how Rex had slept beside him every night since the accident. "He's not a service dog," Lucas said. "He's family." Outside, Dr. Rowan handed Emma his preliminary report. "He's traumatized, yes, but stable. The dog's presence has clearly anchored him. Emma, if you're serious about guardianship, I'll write the letter myself." Empty hospital room, night, snow piled at the window. Inside, Emma read The Secret Garden aloud. Her voice was soft, melodic. Lucas, eyes half-lidded, asked suddenly, "Do you think my parents knew this would happen? That they trusted Rex to stay?" Emma closed the book and met his gaze. "I think they knew love like Rex's doesn't break, and no matter what happened, it would carry you." Lucas didn't answer. He simply leaned his head against Rex's back. His eyelids drifted shut. EXT Brookage Courthouse, spring morning. By the time the trial began, the snow had melted. Early buds clung to branches, hesitant yet hopeful. Inside the courthouse, anticipation was thick. Lucas sat beside Emma near the front, dressed in a soft gray sweater, his wheelchair polished, new wheels gleaming. Rex sat beside him, calm and alert, wearing a navy vest embroidered therapy dog, emotional support. Judge Marianne Holloway presided. In her 60s, tall and commanding, with silver hair in a low chignon, she was known for fairness and zero tolerance for manipulation, especially with minors. The prosecutor, James Ellis, paced as he laid out the case, the inheritance, the falsified guardianship, and the attempted murder disguised as an accident. Emma took the stand. Her voice trembled, but her testimony was clear. She recounted the day Lucas vanished, the evidence at Caleb's home, and Rex's silent, urgent guidance to the cliff's edge. "He never barked until it was life or death," she said. "He knew Lucas was next." Lucas was wheeled to the stand, guided by a gentle liaison. His voice wavered, but did not break. "He said he wanted me to see the view, but when I turned back, he locked the brakes and pushed me." He swallowed. "I remember falling. And then Rex was there. He stayed." The gallery murmured. Sheriff Tom presented physical evidence, burnt documents, a melted buckle from the tampered harness, surveillance footage of Caleb driving away, alone. The defense attempted to argue stress, misjudgment. But even Caleb's lawyer lacked conviction. Finally, Dr. Rowan was called. "Lucas's trauma is no accident. His fear of Caleb is consistent with prolonged emotional abuse. And the role of Rex? Critical. He's not a dog. He's a lifeline." In T courtroom moments later. Judge Holloway returned. The room held its breath. This court finds the defendant, Caleb Morgan, guilty of attempted murder, endangering a minor, and falsification of legal documents. He is sentenced to 25 years in state prison, no parole for 15. Lucas didn't cheer. He simply leaned into Emma's side and closed his eyes. Judge Holloway wasn't finished. In light of these findings, and following full evaluation and Child Welfare Services approval, guardianship of Lucas Hayes shall be permanently transferred to Ms. Emma Fields. She continued, "The assets of the late Gregory Hayes shall be moved into a protected trust in Lucas Hayes's name. Ms. Fields shall serve as trustee until Lucas reaches legal age." Emma wept softly. "And finally," the judge said, a rare smile tugging at her lips, "Rex, the canine involved in this case, is hereby officially recognized as Lucas Hayes's certified therapy dog. His service is noted as exceptional and irreplaceable." She nodded once. Sometimes justice comes on 4 legs. The courtroom erupted in quiet applause. If this tale moved you, if you felt the tension, the heartbreak, and the triumph, please support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring more thrilling, emotional, and inspiring stories your way. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Do you believe dogs have an extraordinary sixth sense? Share your thoughts and personal stories with us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.